If you experienced financial loss and a drop in income after your divorce, then you're not on your own. It happened to me. And when I looked at the statistics, it was quite horrifying. A whopping 45% of women go through this period of financial loss immediately after divorce. And compared to men, their figure's 21%. So what can we do about it? So it turns out there's quite a lot we can do about it. Are you ready to drop the sort of feeling of guilt and shame about being in this situation and experiencing financial loss? Because there's quite a lot of practical tips, strategies and mindset shifts that we can make to improve our situation. So in this next series of videos, we're going to explore all of those, and hopefully that will help you get back in the driving seat of your financial life and your financial well-being, because it's completely possible to do that. I know at the beginning everything feels like utter devastation and it's difficult to know what to prioritise, but financial well-being is going to help you so much get empowered after divorce. Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and relationship coach, and I help women get their radiance and confidence after divorce, no matter what they've been through. So yes, I was a statistic as well. I suffered a great deal of financial loss after my divorce, and if I had known then what I'd know now, things might have worked out a little bit differently. I was so glad to get away from the situation and have my life intact that I prioritised that over financial well-being, but it needn't have been like that, and I think I made things a little bit harder for myself in some ways financially. So that's the whole point of this video series, is to help people who have been in a similar situation, who have suffered financial loss, to get back their empowerment over their finances. So it seems really unfair, doesn't it, that women suffer more than double the amount of financial suffering and hardship that men do after divorce. And doesn't have to be like that, but we have to try and move forward as best we can. And sometimes that feeling of guilt and shame after having gone through divorce and separation can have lingering effects in lots of different ways, but it can particularly impact your finances. So it's really important to offer yourself some grace, some compassion, to understand what you're going through or what you have gone through, and that you're kind of doing the best you can under the circumstances. Remember, we're talking about a huge life change, and there's a high amount of emotional triggering going on, and it's quite difficult to navigate. So I'm really glad that I'm able to explain this particular thing now. This particular point is really, really important, and I didn't understand it at the time when I was going through and experiencing financial loss, that our experiences with money reflect our beliefs about it. Now this is it was a big realisation for me when I eventually did realise it, that money is a kind of it's energy, and our relationship with money is reflected in our financial situation, however that looks for us. So if we've experienced financial loss, we do have a particularly problematic relationship with money, and I'm not assigning blame at all here, because none of this is our fault. And we've got to exercise self-compassion when we're coming to realise this aspect about money. It's really, really important, especially if we're going to move on, because there's some good news here. It's not all, it feels like it's the worst thing in the world, and it's horrific to go through financial loss, and I'm not minimising that at all, but there is a silver lining, So hopefully you'll feel a little bit better having watched the video to the end. You'll understand a little bit more about this. Relationship money is crucial for us, and the quicker we understand it and get awareness about it, the quicker we can recover. The fact that we have experienced financial loss and significant drop in standard of living is an indicator that we have some contradictory beliefs about money that are lodged in our subconscious mind. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll understand that for example, our beliefs about relationships tend to reflect in the kind of relationships that we have in our life. So if we've gone through a toxic divorce, for example, that is an indicator that we've got some work to do on our belief systems about relationships, and it's the same about money. So if we've experienced financial loss, we have contradictory and limiting belief systems all about money and abundance actually on board. And although, however, it's very painful and it's very challenging, we can use this as an opportunity to really get to grips with our beliefs about money, because beliefs can be changed. So the thing is that beliefs can be changed, and but we have to be prepared to do the work to do that. And hopefully this video will help you get a sense of priority, become empowered around your finances, and know that if things are bad now, that you can improve them dramatically. But we also have to know, and this is a belief we may not have, and I know I didn't have this belief, that we are deserving of living a financially prosperous life just because we exist. So it might be a bit difficult to accept that belief, and that's understandable because we've got so many different beliefs about money on board, but that is the truth. Because we exist, we are deserving of being financially prosperous. So if our reality isn't that, then this is where where we've got the work to do. We've got to try and bridge that gap. In my experience, of financial loss, it kind of started before the divorce, really, because I was so needing to get away from this toxic marriage that I would have done anything to just get out with my peace of mind intact. It was only just intact. I was very triggered and felt absolutely devastated. So when it came to discussing with solicitors the financial settlement, I was very, very highly triggered, especially around the subject of finances anyway, that I probably didn't fight for my true value of the equity in the house. And looking back, I kind of I've forgiven myself for that, because I was just doing the best I could at the time. But I sold myself short. I had anything to get anything to get rid of this marriage, because I nearly didn't survive at the end of the marriage. So it was just getting away and finding my own safe haven and getting a peaceful life free from toxic harm was the priority. But yes, I did not fight for my true share of my equity, and that left me considerably short. And I've done a lot of work on it, so I can talk about it without being too triggered at the minute. But at the time, I was very, very highly triggered, especially around the subject of money. It made things really difficult for me I was just not empowered on the subject at all. So, I lived to sort of regret that. I don't now, but I did at the time. So that kind of sums up my beliefs about money in a nutshell. It was basically, at the time, I considered it too high a price to pay for my peace of mind. And that was my central belief about money. So not only had I lost a lot of equity in the house, in the marriage I'd also suffered a great deal of financial abuse. And it's taken a little bit of sorting out to get to a level where I understand what was happening and how I can sort of transform my beliefs about it. But I can now. So I don't get triggered around money anymore, but I did have some very insecure feelings about money as a topic. And the financial abuse is, and if you've been through this, you know, I'm really sorry about this, but there's a lot we can do about it, which is hence the video. So it's important to understand that it happened and to acknowledge that it happened, and that it was a reflection of this faulty relationship we had with money and financial prosperity. And that's not our fault. That's something we acquired actually when we were kids. So the thing is that everybody has their own absolutely unique money beliefs, and they can take a little bit of finding out, because it's not just one money belief, it's a lot of them sort of all interwoven, and one impacts the other, and it does take a little bit of unpacking the amount of contradictory beliefs and limiting beliefs about money. But it's possible to do this work, and the sooner you start with the work, the sooner you can change your finances for the better. So if you've experienced any aha moments as a result of watching this video, then please share those in the comments. It'd be great to get a conversation going, and we do need to start discussing our beliefs about money. We need to make it less taboo. So I encourage you to make some comments, and maybe it will help somebody else as well if you've had any realisations so far. Maybe you've never thought about money in this way before. I know I hadn't at the time when all this happened. So it's a really interesting thing to get to grips with. But the good news is, once we transform our relationship with money, things work out, I promise you. So if you'd like to see some more videos about how we can become empowered around our finances, then check them out. I've got a video here and I've got a video here. I'll see you in the next one.